All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So we will be reviewing the weed sector, looking at the normal four, and I want to start by addressing a really important comment actually. So someone had asked me, why do I only look at these four and just generally imply that that's what the weed sector looks like? There's absolutely no US companies in this. There are no multi-state operators in this. These are, for lack of words, relatively insignificant companies in a lot of people's eyes, especially in the fundamental eyes and the deeper, the deeper believers in the sector, right? My honest answer is basically this. Look, Tilray, and I know I mentioned it on the last video, Tilray is the only one that got to this $200 number, no splits or nothing crazy required. Did it deserve to be up here? No, not at all, right? But it's the only one that's done it. Tilray runs the charts, okay? CGC is definitely starting to get a lot of volume and attention. I think that's very easy. Like Canopy is sometimes top 20, top 15 daily shares traded ticker. Like that is an accomplishment that is, it speaks volumes to the stock, all right? SNDL for sure was a meme stock, all right? And you can't take that away from it, in my opinion, all right? I know that it has a little bit of a negative connotation when you call something a meme stock, but to me, meme stock means nothing more than the day the trigger is ready, volume will flood. Okay. And hey, HITI, there's a very, very strong following, and I really got to know a couple of the viewers and I like them. And yeah, I have no problem covering it, right? But legit, those three, Tilray, CGC, and SNDL, Sandal, if Tilly goes up, the rest should follow. If Tilly goes down, Tilly is what I call Tilray, the rest should follow. And I do believe that, all right? So a little bit longer of an intro. I really want to address that comment. And with that, before we go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to this channel, share this video online with your friends, comment good or bad. Look, I'm telling you, anything you can do helps me so much with these YouTube algorithms. And hey, just talking to me, just listening to me, giving me the opportunity for all of this. Oh man, I am so thankful for all of it. You know that, right? So let's get into it. And I see a good amount of positivity on this Tilray chart. It doesn't scream bullish. It doesn't scream good things, but I see reason to believe, all right? Really quickly, I made a longer introduction than I normally do. If you have the time, go back and listen to it. I'm not going to repeat it because I went on a good rant and I enjoyed it. But yeah, I answered a question about why I think Tilly's number one and why I think these alone cover the weed sector, all right? But getting into the Tilray charts, look, I was optimistic when I heard the alcohol news. And I know when people come to watch this video, I know when people come to look at the letters TLRY, when they hear the word Tilray, the natural inclination is weed, right? Like this is a weed sector review. Tilray is a really important name in alcohol. They're actually a top 5 brand. Nothing to do with the CBD infusion, weed infusion, anything to do with weed, right? Like Tilray also has some alcohol to do with it. And and I said this on the last video and I stress it and I still believe it. I don't think a lot of people disagreed. I assumed I would get more people to disagree with it, but I stress and I sincerely believe that even 100% alcohol related good news on Tilray will do good for the other weed stocks. okay? Because at the end of the day, Tilray is still a weed stock at heart. Hey, alcohol is this like beautiful cherry on top that this thing now gets to carry. But Tilray is the tide that lifts the boats. That's a phrase I use all the time. Like, if your boat is stuck between the rocks, the only way you're getting out is if the water rises and you actually go over the rocks instead of through them, right? Tilray is that for the weed sector, okay? And I was optimistic. I thought the alcohol news was good. I think there was some like CBD infused kind of headlines too, but again, end of the day, it's all about these two lines to like, if you're going to start the lawnmower, you got to rev the engine, right? And you rev the engine by getting over these lines. All we've been doing is struggling to get over the the 8, struggling to get over the 8, struggling to get over the 8, struggling to get over the 8. Finally do, but then the 20 slaps us back down, okay? The one thing I kind of like, all right, not extremely like, but kind of like for sure, we're actually holding the 8 moving average. And in a lot of ways, the last, 5 days, we're also holding the 20, all right? Now, none of these are, especially these last 4, none of these are monster confirmations. There actually isn't even a good confirmation, because that's a good one, no confirmation. That's a good one, doji doesn't count, no confirmation, right? So, and then, doji essentially. But I am not here saying we've confirmed we've gotten over these two lines. However, hey, I would rather go horizontal than down, okay? The thing is, the way parabolic things work, and Tilray is one that does it, I can't find a really good moment. So, and maybe in some ways, it's actually indicative that it's going to go up. Okay, damn, I can't even think of a ticker to show, but look, what you normally see is down, horizontal, and up or down. And oftentimes I actually see continuing down. And that's what I wanted to zoom out and show. The fact that Tilray doesn't do it is like I said, I think a good thing. And I think it maybe says that generally once the horizontal comes, up will come. Because this thing is down, horizontal, up, right? Down, I wouldn't even call that horizontal. I wouldn't, because like here there are moments where it's over the 20. There really aren't that many moments where it's over the 20. Even here, like that's just a down and go. Like here we're down, we're horizontal up, right? Like I think, again, like I said to start this, I think there are things that kind of say it looks like this wants to go to $2. It looks like this should make a quick 10% up. And honestly, I like the spacing between the 50 and these two. I think there's a good shot that this wants to come to 222, 225, give or take, all right? I am not sure we're breaking 225 just yet. These two lines are not really going away from each other as much as I like. I just covered, oh man, which one was it? Mavis. It was MVIS, okay? With Mavis, we're at a place where the 100 is a good distance away from the 200, where I believe we can battle this line, then take some time, then battle this one. With Tilray, these are so tight that I'm really worried we're battling both at the same time. These are the last two lines. This is going to be a really hard break. I don't know if we get over 225, okay? Now, the one thing that I actually haven't talked about yet and I really like is this volume average 50 line, okay? I like, look, let me we were down here, and I remember talking about this on the last video. Obviously, a good little spike, monster spike, good little spike. That's going to take the average from down here all the way to up here, all the way to 40 million, basically 35 million, right? If you're looking in the box over there on the side. The problem has been since, what day is this? Since the middle of September, we have struggled to get to that line, all right? And this line is nothing more than a C. If we're talking about the A, B, C, D, F grade structure, right? Like the average of the last 50 days is literally the peak of the bell curve. That's the average, that's the C. Right? Like, I'm not even asking for a C plus. Your parents are not putting a bumper sticker on their thing if you're getting only the average, right? So the fact that we're struggling to just get a C is horrible. The line is now coming down. It's actually coming low enough to where, you know, we've actually like held that line for a bit right here, and it seems like it's going to keep going down. I think if we could start breaking this 50 moving average line, as we start to break some moving averages, that might push the MACD into a positive. I don't know, you know, like I'll obviously be covering this one as we start moving up, but yeah, I think this is going to start moving up. I think there's a really good reason to even believe 225. Immediately, I would say $2, and that's a little bit more than 10%, with 18 cents being it's what, 12%, right? Give or take, trying to do some math in my head. I like Tilray. I do. I like the fact that we've held. I like the fact that generally when it goes horizontal, it looks like it wants to go up. Where are we on the weekly? Look at that, right? I think that lines up really well. It seems like we're about to break the 8 and maybe make a run all the way up to the 20, which is basically 220. Green, 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 red, 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 red. It could be a really fast move up to this 220. And again, I think that lines up really well with that 220, 225, 222 that I've been talking about on the daily. I like Tilray. I do. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. As always, even if you disagree. Otherwise, let's come into CGC. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe or share, I much appreciate it. Otherwise, let's get into it. And I like Tilray more than CGC. That's a very, very easy thing to start with, all right? I do not like all these moving averages right here. That is way, way, way too noisy. There is too much going on, and I don't like it. Honestly, the easy answer is don't touch this thing until we break the 50 moving average. Basically, I would get in roughly at, I don't even know if I have an alert. I'll put a 69-cent alert. I don't think I'll even do 68 because it looks like that 50 is going down. I'll do 67. I think that's a good number. Because again, why didn't I say this? I just kind of answered it, right? Like, I don't know the math behind the lines. You know that, right? But like, look at the slope of that red line. It seems like we're going to basically catch up to that 100 in no time, right? I would rather get in over the 50 and hopefully ride it all the way up to the next line, which is up there, right? MACD's not quite positive, but it looks like it wants to. And kind of the same volume comments I made on Tilray. Look, it's been an impossibility to hit this white line, all right? But as the white line comes down back to the realities of the latest, you know, days, it makes it easier to hit the line. And if you have good volume as you're breaking lines up, I think there's a decent reason to believe. Look, I could see this coming to 85 cents. I don't know if we're going to fill this entire red. Like, I don't know if we're going to actually break the 50 and go all the way up. I think there's a decent shot to believe if we can break that high 60s. Look, going from mid to high 60s to mid 80s is essentially 33%, right? Like 20, 20, 20, add another 20 is basically what we're doing, rough math, right? So CGC, I'm not liking it just yet. Very, very noisy in all of this. Get over the 50, and I think that's good things. And again, if Tilray does well, that should help with this. You know, I genuinely believe that, right? Oh, look at that. The exact same thing is coming on the weekly, right? Two lines, one line is hard to break. We've seen it. Like, look at this thing. We just struggle with the one single line for months on months on months on months on months. One line is hard. When you have two lines right there, it is not an easy thing to do. But if we can get over those lines, it's going to want to fly up to the next one, right? Just a lot is going on right here. And again, it just looks like in the next couple days, this is basically going to meet this 100 too. So it's going to be really noisy in the low 60s range. Break that low 60s and man, this thing could do really well, right? So CGC, let me know your thoughts and opinions. Even if you disagree, you know that, right? But let's move into SNDL, SNDL. Oh man, I'm pretty sure last time I made the video, I actually did a CGC and SNDL chapter because it was essentially the same comment. This is literally the exact same comments in my head, right? MACD is super close to getting to zero. It's not quite there. The volume line needs to drop hard. This one's not doing the drop as much, but man, if we can get over this little cluster, goodness gracious, right? The one thing I see, sorry to zoom in so hard, I'm losing, right here. The 50 is gonna go away from this cluster, right? Like the 50 is moving down rather violently. Violently, I'm not using it as a bad word. I'm just, it is what it is, right? It looks like it's gonna escape. So I believe we have I believe we have a shot at coming up to 50. This will be all about 163. 164. If we can break 162, right? You see at the 100 is at 162 and the 200 is at 161. If you're looking at the box on the side over there, just get into that 163, 164 range. And my goodness, where's this lines right here? Oh yeah, look, green, 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 red, 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 green, 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 green is what we'd be looking for, right? If Tilray can do what Tilray looks like it's trying to do, I think SNDL will mimic a lot of the same comments on CGC. Again, monster two lines coming up at 168. That 168 is just, to just get us into that 170s, and SNDL will go crazy. I'm basically going to do the same thing. The same comments from CGC really echo into SNDL. Nice. Okay. I'm not looking at high tide. You know that. I literally started the video by saying the only reason I cover this is because I actually really like the high tide people. You know, you seem to be the most accepting of the bad news, even though you are loyal. And, you know, no one wants some random dude on the other side of the screen saying, hey, your money's in a bad place, right? But yeah, I feel, I don't know why, you know, call me silly. Maybe I'm missing it, right? But that's actually what I'm covering. Blah, blah, blah. I was angry the last video. You could hear it in my voice because I remember being excited that the market was finally ready to accept the earnings and accept the good and like accept things that hasn't been happening in the last few earnings, right? This 200 line, man, this 200 line just seemed like a real impossibility that actually looked like a sustained go up. Right? And the real disappointment was the fact that we were below all five. I couldn't believe it, right? I was, let alone expecting the good up, was just shocked at how quickly the lines lost, how little this 200 moving average did. Like I was angry. You know what I mean? I'm glad to see this, okay? Because again, I don't know. I really don't know where high tide ranks. Where high tide ranks in the hierarchy of weed stocks. All right, like fundamentally, I don't know, dude. Even technically, I don't know. All right, there are so many weed stocks now that, like, you know, it's hard for me to really understand what that sector like looks like as a whole. All right. I was hoping that the good I was anticipating from Tilray, the not quite there, but I could see it on the CGC and high tide. I was hoping, on the CGC and Sandal, I was hoping high tide would see that and go. And yeah, this is a good few days. This is where I'm all right. I'm less seeing the you know, lose it and go back. I'm now seeing a horizontal cluster of 5 lines. And I feel like I haven't used that phrase in a while. But yeah, I think we're just going to the top, going to the bottom, going to the top, going to the bottom, going to the top, going to the bottom, going like as these lines tighten, I think we're at the mercy of these lines. And I will tell you, as much as I hate that, I think it's way better than what I was anticipating. Because I remember talking about this 107 for sure. Because under the 107, sorry to zoom out so much, is a big gap down. There is no real line in between that. And I remember saying, do not lose 107, right? Like I remember, regardless, we're at least in the lines, we're in the cluster. It looks a little less thick as I zoom out, but again, as I zoom in, you can see it. I mean, these are all a stone throws away. It seems like we're just going to be getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter, right? Like this is going to seemingly live up and down, above and below the $1.43 line right here, right? Like that's seemingly the eye of the tornado, the eye of the storm, right? I use the word tornado because high tide is in a place where it will either, I got to zoom out now, it will either go to the top, go to the bottom, go to the top, go to the bottom, go to the, like tight, 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 then fly, or it will, got to go to the opposite, tight, 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 it finally goes down, right? I actually think, again, I was positive on the first three. I got to be positive on the fourth one. If Tilray does what it's supposed to do, if it could rise the tides, I think we'd break this 50 and hopefully go up to $1.87. Again, a lot needs to happen. It's not going to be easy to get over the 50. Just like we saw it here, there's going to be a moment where we break the 50, go relatively far away from it, and then seemingly for no reason at all come back to it. Like I can see us going here and then seemingly come back. That is what happens with a cluster of all five especially, right? But hopefully this sector can do good things, all right? Let's look at the weekly real quick, but I can't imagine it's anything else. Yeah, we're starting to get this cluster of three right here. We're going above it. We're going below it. We're going back above it. We're just kind of living in that. Again, as I click right there, 144, I said 143 on the other one. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. Otherwise, as always, hey, thank you.